Hello YouTubers, welcome to another episode of the vlog. Almost finished my smoothie actually, usually I have more left. It's been a really lovely sunrise this morning and today it seems like a calm day. Not a calm day, calm day. So we're going to head out in the water. Again, trials coming up this weekend. The training gets lighter, it's into taper week, and of course the Yam Squad merch is getting sent today. So I put it all, packaged it up all yesterday, and then it gets sent out today. So if you're in the UK, you get it sooner. And we've got Frank Mendes on the bike as well. And if you live outside of the UK, it'll take a bit longer. So hopefully within a week, if you're worldwide. But we'll see how the post does. But now it's time to get training, so let's get to it. We've made it out onto the land once again. Another dry session in the Learn to Row pair, but now it's time to fuel up because for the fuel. And we've made it into the crew room once again. We've made it, yes. And as the toast says, you just got yam on it, and that's what we're doing this morning in our paddle, just giving it some yam. And that's what we're doing this weekend as we're watching some European golf. Oh yeah! And then
European tour.
it's golf.
Yeah, it's not European golf. It's European tour.
It's a European tour golf. And I was talking to Robson about vlogging this weekend. Probably vlog tomorrow, a little bit in the car, a little bit of going down to Boston, but then Saturday and Sunday will be one episode at some point next week after some recovery time. But now, speaking of recovery time, it's time to fuel up because food is fuel. And we've fueled up and now it's time to get on the erg and do the last piece of longer intensity. So let's get to it. And we've finished with that workout. We're still in the gym, so people have still got their pacing to do, so that will be the last sort of pace I would like to do. So I went 250 at sort of mid-race pace and 250 with one of the shifts I want to do around 500. Felt fine, but we'll see what happens on the day. So my plan is to heavily negative split, but I'll have a little bit of adrenaline, have a little bit of get up and go, or even more, so we'll see what happens. But the plan is to stick to the plan and do nothing different. A lot of training under the belt, so might as well use it. But now, as always, time to fuel up, because food is fuel. Oh yeah. And we've made it into the crew room. We've got some KFC chicken for lunch. Absolutely fantastic, absolutely delicious, because you always have to fuel up, especially when you've got a session of yam. So let's get to it. Oh, you. Hello. And we've made it outside of the club. It's time to send off the Yam Squad t-shirts. Oh yeah. So I packaged them up, like I said at the start of the vlog. I'm going to the post office now to send them off. Excellent. And I was on my phone on the rowing subreddit on Reddit. And there was a lot of chat about 2Ks and prepping for 2K, and there was a specific article that I read that was actually, someone had wrote it about like doing a 2K in particular, so, and it was actually like a really good read, and I was like, got excited reading it, especially like the last bit about the last sort of 500 or so. So thought that I'm going to give my opinion on how to do a 2K. There's a couple of vlogs back as well. I'll put the link in the description, what I think going through a 2K. I'm not sure what vlog that is, but I'll put the link in the description for that, about what goes through my head during a 2K. But I'll also talk about now, since we've done a little bit of 2K prep on the erg this week and last week, talk about a little bit of 2K prep, talk about what goes through my head in preparation for Saturday. But first, shipping out the Yam Squad tees and getting back to the house. Oh yeah. And we've made it back into the house. Been doing a little bit of moving round. We've got furniture in the house now. Oh yeah! The landlady, owner decided to help us out, and we've got furniture in the house now. Oh yeah! So, talking about 2K, how to prep for it, how to do it, all of the above. So, the 2K is the go-to test for a rower. It is something that, if you're a rower, it's one of the first questions that you go, okay, what's your 2K, bruh? And then you can kind of judge someone's maybe fitness, strength, power off of that. Obviously, that's not it's purely based on the rowing machine, so it's not based on other things like rowing ability, etc. So keep that in mind. So how do you do a 2K? Well, it is a test in which you pretty much push yourself to your limit. It can be, or it has been described as one of the sort of worst feelings of pain that people can go through, apart from some obvious cases. But the 2K, you produce lactic acid very quickly if you're doing, depending on how you're doing it obviously, but it can be very painful. So you have to be prepared for that, for one. The mental aspect of a 2K is absolutely massive. So you need to know the split you're going to go for, or at least have an idea of the split that you're going to go for. And also be prepared for it to sting. Usually, well, for me, it is in the legs, and then when I start to sprint, it goes specifically, it's like around my knees and quads area if I'm really going for it. Sometimes, if I'm really, really going, my hands will cramp up, and obviously the neck gets involved for no apparent reason. But that is full yam mode, maybe only for the last 100 or so meters. So for ideally for a 2K, for me, this is how I like to do a 2K, is you go through the first K at a steady pace that I know I can hold, and then step down towards the finish. So I personally can negative split quite heavily, and I know other guys and other girls can sit on a split and even split the whole thing, which I find is outrageous. But You do you, and you find what's best for you. Sometimes people can go out really hard and then fade a little bit and then bring it back down. Other people like myself go out steady and then drop down quite dramatically. So my advice is do some pieces. For example, a lot of 500s, maybe 8 by 500 or 6 by 500, and find your pace. That could be so that when you do a 2K, you find, okay, I'm seeing the numbers that I'm used to seeing on those 500s, and I know when it's going to hurt. You can change the rest in between the 500s as well to mimic what you might feel in a 2K. You can make an 8 by 500 workout feel really easy and you go really fast, or you can make it feel absolutely horrendous and go slow, just because you can adjust that rest. So that I would recommend doing something like that to get the split, one, knowing what split to pull, and two, seeing the split you want to pull. So for me, it gets quite difficult because I don't really see the splits that I would be pulling in the last, say, 500 normally. So I'll be going, I hope to see probably it could be anything between 10 and 15 split range over the 2K, going from here to here. Hopefully not here to here, and I keep on pushing. And prep for a 2K, very pertinent to this weekend. Prep for a 2K, again, is knowing what you're doing, what you're going to be doing. And also, so if it's a big test like this weekend, a 2K test, it really helps to be fueled in the right way and also to be rested in the right way. So you want to be sharp, but you don't want to be over rested. So we've had a bit of a taper week this week, like I've talked about in the last few vlogs. So we've had a bit less training so the body can recover from previous training and then start to build energy. But you don't want to do no training because then you start to detrain essentially. So it's like a fine balance, and speak to your coach about that, about getting that balance right so you're ready to go on the day, but you've also not lost what you've collected over the past weeks or months. And fueling on the day or even pre 2K, I've mentioned on the day of a 2K, your fuel, it can really depend on you. I don't like rowing on an empty stomach, but I don't like rowing on a full stomach. So maybe 20% roughly full. So I'm nowhere near hungry, but I'm close to empty. And obviously, since a 2K is less than 6 minutes for me, it's not really a long time to be not hungry for, but I don't want to be hungry. Some people enjoy or operate on an empty stomach, and other people prefer a full stomach. So you, again, doing those testings, doing those 8x500s, doing those workouts, prepping for the 2K, you figure out what you're getting used to. And fueling before the 2K, sort of the week before, let's go with the week before. It isn't about, like, carbo loading is not really a thing for 2Ks. It is only a few minutes, 6+ minutes long, maybe 6 to 8, 5 to 8 minutes long, 10 minutes, whatever it is. So it is explosive, and it's not really to do with a lot. It is definitely endurance, obviously, but it's not to do with endurance, say like a marathon, where carbo loading can really make a difference, or other long races. So really, it's the food that you eat the day prior that is in your system that you'll use to fuel you for the next day. Obviously that can change, so if you have some quick sugars on the day, that can go straight into your system, but everything like complex foods that are in your system that take a while to digest, say the night before or the afternoon before, that is processed in your body and then fuels you for the next day, especially if you're 2K'ing in sort of the morning, afternoon, or morning, early afternoon. It can be the food you've ate directly prior most likely won't have an effect unless it's sort of sitting and bubbling around, and you don't really want that. So for example, I drink a smoothie every morning, and if I do anything intense too close to drinking that smoothie, since it's almost a liter of liquid, it's just all blah and it doesn't feel great. So I try to make sure there's a time between the smoothie finishing and training starting, especially when it's intensity. But that's something different altogether. So we have talked about fueling for a 2K. We have talked about doing a 2K itself, whether it's negative splitting or positive splitting. And why don't I fire this in as well? A little bonus answer. How do you get faster on your 2K? I spoke about that a little bit before, but for me, getting me faster for my 2K was, or is, hopefully, if I can PB this weekend, was to do with I'm a lot stronger than I've ever have been. So that means that, in theory, it is easier for me to pull the same numbers now than it was, say, last year. And also getting my fitness up there. So a lot of steady state is a big thing about increasing the speed of my 2K. And lastly, a big thing as well that I think can make a really big difference on a 2K is purely just the preparation, maybe a few weeks before, or not even a few, the types of training and the preparation. So if you're only going for a 2K on the rowing machine and you train for like lactate threshold training, if you train for making your body better at dealing with lactic acid, that is a type of training that will really benefit your 2K. But of course, you have to be fit enough to be able to produce the speeds that you want to see for a long period of time. But also, if you're doing a lot of high intensity training, where your legs are burning and then you get off the erg and then you get back on, you make your legs burn again, where your body is forced to be more efficient in dealing with lactic acid and just efficient in general and getting fitter, that can be huge in preparation and making your 2K better. But that could be that you could be doing that already, and then you have to go the other way and do more steady state. So it kind of depends. And also, you might be doing no weights and you're not very strong, so maybe weights is your thing. So it really depends on you. But those three things, so the type of training, whether it's high intensity, low intensity, which I've spoken about before in a few vlogs. Weight training, if you're not very strong, maybe getting stronger could help quite a bit. It's definitely helped me. And fitness, so that's, and obviously the type of training and the fitness is quite similar, but when I say fitness, I'm talking about sort of the anaerobic base training, the steady state, the miles after miles, that's the type of thing. So those three things, if you do a lot of miles, a lot of weights, and a lot of intensity, obviously that is an insane program kind of thing, and you might just blow up doing it. But those are the three things that I look at for myself. So I would say, am I fit enough? Am I strong enough? And am I essentially used to the burn enough? They're the three things that I would look at for improving my 2K. But that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully you enjoyed it. The Yam Squad merch is on its way to you. We had a bit of an issue at the post office because of the sizes of the packages, but it's all sorted. They're all sent out. Hopefully you all get them soon. And like I said at the start of the video, the UK postage, I think, is a day or two at most. The international postage, it says anything between 3 and 10 days, I think it said, depending on where you live. Some packages went to New Zealand, Australia, a lot to the USA, Canada, and I really, really appreciate that. Keep an eye out for more merch coming. The hats are pretty much sold out, but I think there are maybe a couple, so the link is still in the description. And then we've got trials this weekend, so I'm probably going to tone it down a little bit with merch, and then we're coming with the Christmas merch, and I have a few designs there. We're looking at Christmas sweaters, or let me know in the comments below if you have any other ideas for Christmas related merch. I have other ideas for non-Christmas related merch, but since we're coming into the holidays, I thought we'd go with that for the next batch. And as always, Yam Squad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and have a good one.